Hey, good morning. I just did our pre-trip. Now we're waiting until we can leave. Although I did inadvertently find out what the issue with my Garmin was. Because it happened with my Rand McNally, but a little later. I have a expansion to my cigarette lighter socket, because there's only one on the international right front, so I got one expansion. Well, it's one of those that you can actually turn the sockets individually off. Well, I made the mistake of putting my recorder on top the thing. Well, I must have just the bumps in the road, it would move the recorder, and it would intermittently cut the connection to the GPS power. Well, originally I had it set to 2 minutes for the screen to go dim if there was no power. Then I bumped it up to 30 minutes. So this is the one thing that Garmin has to do. Rand McNally doesn't have this, because I already had one of the powered mounts go bad, and I was able to just run because the tablet part of it has a micro USB slot that you can charge it from and download information. So with that, I was able to run just a USB cable to it and charge it, and it was fine. I mean, I used it for almost a year, half a year like that. Well, Garmin makes it so that unless the mount is powered, this is on the 8 and I'm sure it's on the 10, unless it's powered, it'll shut off. Even if you're using the micro USB plug on the side and it's actually physically charging, it has to be being charged through the magnet mount. So all they have to do is add a never to it. So never turn it off if it's not connected to, if there's no power going to the mount. Or just get rid of that entirely. And as long as there's power from whether it's the mount or micro USB thing, it'll always stay on. And so that was the issue. Last night I just inadvertently, just as an experiment, plugged it into a cigarette lighter plug, and it was showing charge. So I just left it on all night, never went on. So now I moved it back and it's showing charge now. Like I said, if you rock that switch just slightly, it would cut the power. So it was cutting power to the thing, and because it's a white light on the thing, like with my Rand McNally, it was easy because it's a red light. So I knew it was on. With the sun on it, it looks like the white light is active. So it was hard to tell that it wasn't. But yeah, that feature needs to go, because just like the Rand McNally, eventually, just from hanging and taking it on and off, that magnet, one of the pins are going to get bent, the thing's going to go bad, and at least if it happens on the road, I can get plug a USB, micro USB cable into it and charge it, which should keep it on. But because even if it's not connected to the mount itself, it'll still shut off or go to sleep. That whole feature needs to just be removed. Whether, as long as it's got charge going to it, like a regular tablet, the screen and that won't go to, the GPS won't go to sleep. So that's got to be removed and make it so that, you know what, if your mount goes bad while you're on the road, you're not going to ever find a new mount because they don't sell them individually. So it would be nice if I had the backup like on my Rand McNally, where I could just plug a charging cable into the micro USB slot and still have my GPS, and then, you know, before I get home I'll order, you know, a new power mount, or I just won't buy the power mount until I really need to, as long as the magnets are good. So that's what they got to get rid of, because that is the one plus to Rand McNally is, if your power mount goes bad, all you have to do is put a micro USB. Second thing they got to do is update their POIs. Man, they are so far behind, and they tend to only put in name brands. Very few mom and pops things, or at least give us the option that, you know, somewhere we can find, you know, we can update truck stop POIs. Like, I know on the old Rand McNally's you could update the POIs on it. So if you wanted to, say it didn't have all the latest Walmarts, you could go in and download the file and update the POIs. I'll have to check to see if you can do that to this. I'm not sure you can. If somebody knows, let me know. But yeah, that was the issue. Now I got it back up and running again, since I know what the issue is. I may have to order another one of these. I just think, because the thing's over a year old, it just may be that the spring in the switch is getting old, and that from sitting in the same position all the time. That's why if there's any little pressure on it, it would turn on and off. Well, I'm almost ready to go. So it's slightly snowing, so I'm probably not going to be, depending on how the roads feel, I doubt if I'll be running the 65 miles an hour. So I'll have to take it easy till the sun comes out and I can see the roads a little bit better. Alright, we'll see you in a little bit once we get rolling. Good morning. Now the roads are nice down here. There was some light snow around Indy. I imagine it's the same all the way up. I think they were saying it was going to be like less than 2 inches. And the whole thing is all they had to do was salt. The temperature was at least around Indianapolis there, it was in the mid-20s. So salt would have easily worked. If they weren't needing to plow, it's just, man, put a layer of salt on, let it do its thing. So, being that I only had 25,000 in, 55 miles an hour was the safe bet. The only thing is, what's strange is the southbound lanes got clearer, but the northbound lanes were still snow covered. I mean, especially in the construction area, just south of Columbus, Indiana. But yeah, that was really the only issue.
once I got to, I don't know, 10, 15 miles south of, maybe 20 miles south of Columbus, Indiana, the roads start turning wet, and then a little farther they turn dry. It looked like the snow band was just, the tip of it was just north of Louisville. So that's probably where the lightest snow would be. They probably didn't get jacked. That's why the roads were wet. Probably the worst part's going to be from Columbus, Indiana, all the way up to Chicago. Probably a little farther. Indiana's never been known for keeping their roads that great. Skip on that salt.